Hello YouTubers, Troz here, back playing more Satisfactory. First, I kind of have to apologize for the quality of the last episode. I was using new, recording software that I don't really use often. I've used it a few times, but yeah, it can capture both the games and the desktop, and yeah, I had it set up wrong, and it only captured part of the screen, and then when I was recording the desktop part, I accidentally switched it back without I switched how it was recording back to the game, and yeah, that caused problems. So I had to stick in a still image. So hopefully that won't happen now. I know exactly what I did wrong, and I will avoid it this time. So it's not quite the end of April, but it is the last week of April when I'm recording this, so we should get a content update real soon now, perhaps even before I get this recording up. But yeah, the content update hasn't come out yet. So I've just been continuing working on this second base here. You can see I've added a new floor. That's because we're now producing the, we will by the end of this episode be producing the, a little bit of lag there, the heavyweight, heavy modular frames. So I've had to do a few things because we didn't have quite all the resources. I have a new conveyor belt here. One of the big resources that's going to use is concrete. So I was producing concrete over there, but it was just literally over there, and you can kind of see I have another belt. This belt will go down and kind of around that side of the cliff over there, where there is another pure node of limestone. So I have another miner over there, and then the two belts will go over and up to this top floor. I have another two miners, one here and one right over there, but those are all both on normal nodes, so together they will make one Mark IV belt, and that will also go over to that corner. But for my plan, even that 3 Mark IV belts isn't quite enough, so I actually have, and we're not going to be able to see it from here, most likely. Over where I had the extra oil, there was also an additional, yeah, we're not going to be able to see it. But like kind of where this arch is, somewhere over here, is another normal node that I have another miner on, which is getting us an additional 240 if I overclock all of these, which I haven't done. Plans. Alright, kind of since I messed up the map last time, let's redo that real quick. Yeah, this is a map I like. Let's hide all the impure nodes, but well, let's turn them back on momentarily. Just to show you, this is where my original base was. These were the two nodes right outside the factory. The one limestone node we're using, the copper node, the other limestone node, and these two iron nodes I eventually started using. This is where I was getting my coal from, and then if we zoom out a bit, I was driving all the way over here to get my oil. Block, that's what I'm looking for. This is the Caterium that was blocked, so we had to go over here to get our Caterium ore. Now, oh, and this oil up here was the secondary oil I was getting. Now I am all the way up here, currently mining these two iron nodes. these two copper nodes. This was my original limestone, the one I kind of zoomed in on. This is that second limestone that I'm now belting stuff by. These are the other two limestone. I'm getting coal from here and here. These oil I'm using for power and for fuel for the moment. I was also set up last episode all the way over here. These oils to produce fuel, to produce power. This is the limestone over here that I'm gathering. You can see there's like the arch that I kind of zoomed in on, but you couldn't actually see the mine. But yeah, and between this episode, I additionally am now belting this coal over because we're gonna need more coal because we're gonna be using steel. So the plan, if I'm doing this right, here we go, is we're gonna use just under 3 belts of ingots. If you remember, we were making 6 belts of ingots, and we only used 3 last time, so we have 3 left over, so we'll be using them, but not quite all of them. You can see this should be 450 of both if we were using a full 3. This is not quite. It's close. Also, we need an additional 2 belts of coal. We are bringing in 3. 1 won't be used, but you know, maybe in the future we'll make you know, the steel, encased steel, or just a steel not ingots, but bars. Whatever you need for the level Mark III belts. But we're gonna need a lot of concrete. This is, you know, 1350 would be 3 belts worth. Yeah, we're using slightly more than that. We're actually gonna bring in 1350 and then another 240, so we'll have plenty. And you know, I'll get into this more once we actually are doing things. So let's get those power slugs and overclock. There's a power slug right there. Actually, I've left most of the power slugs in this area. Like, hey, there's a power slug sitting over there. Oop, tree. There's a power slug sitting over there. But I did collect some strategic ones. And all we have to do is convert them into power shards. I probably will need at least 8. Well, you'll be 10. What, you know, I don't need those. Obviously, moved a belt with limestone on it, and well, wound up with a bunch in my inventory. Okay, 5 power shards. Should have plenty of cable. I don't think I'll need quite that much, but since we're going this way, we'll grab a bit more. And I'm loving the jetpack. Really want to go that way. So we'll go this way. barely make it up here, but we do. Alright, here we are at the first one. No power, but that's expected. We need to overclock you to 200%, so we'll get 240 per minute out of you. Actually, I think we can do 95, but not really that big of a difference. You know, we can actually just ride the belt here. And come over to this other. Yeah, the game is getting a bit laggy when it auto-saves, but that's kind of to be expected with a build out this big. Okay, you're at 200%, and the only thing we need to do is hook your power up. Which comes from over here. Okay. Was I gonna hit up that one. Alright, that's should have started. This is all full up. This ramp here, but I had wasn't here last episode, but I had a tractor and needed to get out, and that was kind of trapped in there, so that was the only way. I also added some of the steel beam production just because I needed it. Let's, you know, before we do that, let's make sure let's put in your overclock. Hook that up. I'm not sure. Nope. Here's the other limestone. I think I'll need more connections over here, but you know, never know. actually, I don't think I have to overclock that one down there, because this doesn't need to be 240. At 120, it will be plenty. Alright, these are all going up. Or at least they should be. Yep. Alright, pause here for recharge of the jetpack. And then, yep, here's the first ones we hooked up come in here. So these should all be going up. And I can hear stuff running. Pick it up. Okay. Barely made it, but did make it. You know what? Well, you can run, you're not really going to do much. So, the concrete comes up here, and we get a lag spike. Two of the 450 Mark IV lines just go down the side here. The other slower line and the other 450 both get split and then merge so that the upper two get half of each. And they go down the rest. These take 45 per minute, so that means 10 can be fed by a 450 line, which we do. And it will feed up to here. And then this line feeds the remaining, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 of them. Well, 7 per side. So we have 200 per minute going out that way. And the rest, which is not quite 300 per minute, should come this way. Because the 200 per minute are going right to the heavy modular frame producing manufacturers, because we're using the alternate recipe, which needs concrete. The rest come this way, which should be the encased steel beam production. But we need steel pipe. So let's get the steel pipe hooked up now, which will mean dropping back down all the way. These two belts here will be for the steel pipe. We need 900 per minute, which is 450 per lane. The encased beams actually use more than one belt, and then we have two other processes that take what remains of the second belt after we remove enough for the first two, or the last two encased steel beam production units. How did I have this? Oh yes, I know how I have this all planned out. Yeah. So this is our steel floor. And last time we used like the first half of the steel production, and then these 60 pipe makers. I put in 60 more pipe makers, and the second half of the steel production should be hooked up. The only problem I ran into is these were already placed, and because they hang over slightly, I can't put a floor, even though they're resting on this floor, they somehow encroach the clearance of this floor. Hopefully that's something that I can fix, or the patch will fix, so I can place a floor, because hey, if it's resting on the floor, it shouldn't encroach the floor next to it. But we're gonna need coal. Oh, well, I can probably show you from here. Yeah, so the extra coal that I showed off on the map is over in that direction. So that kind of feeds... might not see it from... Oh, yes, you can. If I... not... You can see it, the 3 belts feeding down there. There's also a pure quaternum ore here, which meets up with them. And then there's a cave, and the cave comes out here. And they just come down and across. And they're not hooked up yet. We're not going to hook up the quaternum ore yet, because we don't need it. But we will hook up the 3 coal here. And you know what? Let's do the top one first after the lag clears. Because it'll be easier if we don't block. And if I did everything correctly now, this will be flowing up. One of these will stop at some point because it's not being used. But the other 2 will continue. One more floor. This is, yeah, our iron production floor. We still have plenty of room here. Here comes the 3 coal belts. And this very top one is still going. I don't know where it's being used, but we'll find out shortly. Alright. You see these are running, producing 45 per minute, so we'll be getting, hopefully at the end of this line, 2 full belts of steel. Yeah, this is... we have some extra production here that's not set up. We will need additional iron for that. But here comes our steel. I did let the iron back up. That was hooked up earlier. We're not getting quite enough coal yet because it has not backed up. These earlier ones are sucking up more, you know, the coal off the belt quicker. It will eventually back up, and then we will get our full 45 per minute out of each one of these. It's just going to take a little bit of time for that. Let's hop on the belt here and go for a bit of a ride. So we're getting, here's our 2 steel belts coming over here and getting turned into steel pipes. Again, this is gonna take a while to build up, seeing that these only need 15 per minute, so like right now, as much as possible is flowing into this one, and the steel isn't really making it all the way down. But again, this should shortly, 10 or 15 minutes be at full production. What will help us though is I don't have this hooked up yet, so like this one will back up a lot more quickly because it can't even, well, we'll have to wait for 100 pipes to build up, but it's, once that does, then it's not going to take any more and let everything go down. You can see down here at this end, this may not have even gotten a bit of steel yet. Yeah, but as well, can't really say as fast as we're getting steel, we're converting it into pipes because some of it's just buffering up. But once it is all buffered, then as fast as we get steel, we'll be getting pipes. Alright. Hopefully, I'd like to not take as long as last episode. I want to keep it to an hour, if not slightly under. Yeah, so here's all our concrete that is buffering up upstairs, hopefully. Yeah, that should be plenty. We literally only needed, this is that extra belt, we only needed an extra 50 per minute, and even without overclocking, it's a normal node, so it should get us 60. Maybe it was a whatever. I can look back at the map, but that's not really necessary. All right. We probably should hook this up at this point. It's not going to be going full blast, but their pipe has built up in a few of the early ones by now. So I'll sort of be a buffer. Let's hook you up and fly up 2 floors. I always like to go 1 floor at a time because 2 is a little far. Alright, these are the machines that will make our encased steel beams. And I forget how many we have of these. Let's double check. Encased steel beams, we have 13.4 of them. And if I remember correctly, the amount of pipes we have will only... Yeah, you can see the belt change. Will fit 12 and a half. So we got pipes coming in to feed the last machine and this one. This is a merger. All the others are splitters. You can see these really want 36 per minute. We should be... Oh yeah, here we go. We're getting This is the alternate recipe. I'm using the pipes and concrete as it gives you more per minute. And you can see we have all of these going down and into a storage chest. Because these are used for making the fast belt, Mark IV belts. Call them fast belts. They probably won't be fast belts for long once the update hits. Yeah, you can see we're quickly coming up to backing up here. Although we're not quite getting the pipes at full rate yet. And, hey, it's getting dark. So here, we're not really going to back up the output in the machine because it's going to fill this. But we'll wait till this gets a few hundred. Meanwhile, the second belt of pipes, while it is providing to those last two, it's coming down here and providing to these machines as well. These will be our reinforced iron plates. Sorry. Our modular frames. They need reinforced iron plates. These are our modular frames. So we need reinforced iron plates. And we don't need lag. There we go. So the reinforced iron plates are going to be made over here. And we're using stitch iron plates, but they need iron plates and wire. We have neither of those here yet. What we do have is iron ingots. And since we have the stitch or the iron wire recipe, we can make both the iron plates and the iron wire and the wire out of iron ingots. But to do so, we're gonna need iron. Ooh. I had thought I double checked everything, but apparently I haven't. So we're not belting that up here yet. And it's a little hard to see in the night here. Yeah. Is there room in here? Oh, there's room right. Alright. Belt to land on. There we go. If I take those out, there should be. Actually, I can do there and here. Undo. Walls. Okay, I thought I planned ahead, but apparently not nearly as enough. That should be high enough. was right here. Alright. Let's do this. We need conveyor pole. There we go. Stackable. Should have planned a little more ahead. I thought I'd gone through all of this. Obviously, missed the very input. Alright. I'm putting this like this, just so we leave room for belts to turn around, you know, such as that. You will go there. Ooh. Yep, that's... Well, it could have been worse. Actually, it could have been way worse, because the way things are right now, if I die, it's about a good 7-minute trip back here, because my hub is back at my original base. Accidentally hit the erase button. We'll just follow the existing slopes. You need another wall or two. Well, it's too high, but you know what, it will do. A little close there, but that should be everything on this side hooked up. I just have to add some connections on this side. Alright. Little bit of a unexpected delay. But we have everything ready now. Not to there, no. One there. You're going in here. You're going in there. And these should come to life. We are producing wire here and putting it on Mark III belt, so it's 2 per, except for the last set of wire. We have 5 belts here. The last belt is a... Ooh. Right. Ooh. Oh yeah, you can feel the lag now. The last belt is getting 3 of them. It's a Mark IV belt, which can hold 450, but 3 only produce 405 when they're fully going. Which will take a bit of time. But yeah, you can see that's going pretty good. Yeah, you can see these aren't getting blocked up for long. They have spaces, which is exactly how it should work out. Once the wire is all... Yeah, this should be 15 per minute. Once these all back up, then the plates will get fed. This is almost backed up here, so 15, 30, 45, yeah, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, 135, 150, 165, and then the rest of the 450 should be coming down here to produce iron plates, which take 30 a minute, but only produce 15. And in fact, apparently is starting to produce. Is that not on that belt? Because that looks like that is not on that belt. Oh, that was bad. Okay, that didn't take too much time, but let's see if I've actually fixed it. We only need a Mark I belt here. The way this is all, yes, there it goes. It's all set up. These are encroaching the belt above its height. So to replace these, I actually have to remove all of the yeah, it let's just make sure these are all going in and not backing up. looks good. We need to do the other side now because we're feeding in from both sides. But, you know, if it's working on one side, it will work on the other. So these have built up a bit of a backlog. I think the wire is all built up now. These guys I never had to touch because luckily we've got a split in the belt here. So yeah, the wire's built up a bit, but the idea is here is once everything backs up, we'll be having enough iron ingots to make iron plates from all of these, and iron wires. Oh, I did not hook up the one wire belt. Which is this middle one, which actually is a little bit more... it's 405 a minute compared to the 270 of all of these, and there's a reason for that. We haven't... we have a lot of wire coming in here. And they need 75 per minute. So we have, you know, a pair. We're feeding from the center out to both. So there's 150 here, 150 here. That's 300, and another 150 here, which would be 450. We only have 405 on the center one. So we supplement that, you know, after the first 300 are taken off, well, we feed in 270. And then, like, yeah, from then on, every two of these, you know, we're feeding in there, 1, 2, feed in again, 1, 2, feed in again, 1, 2, and feed in again. You can see all of these, though, have backed up by now, because now we're waiting on the plate production to wrap up. Which hopefully will be, you know, coming up as the cable production backs up. Yeah, you can see yeah, we're backed up here. So now we're getting... I guess all the cables sucked in at the same time, but we should be getting a relatively steady amount of iron, making it to the iron plate production. Yeah, this one's already backed up too as well. So that means our stitched plates should be producing at a somewhat decent rate. You know, except it takes almost 30 seconds. It says it's... Okay, the production is going up. Oh, that's the amount. Our efficiency, yeah. We're almost at 90% efficiency. Yeah, that will be going up. But you can see, yeah, this is basically backed up on wire, aside from lag spikes. Most of these should be backed up on wire, and in fact, these first few are backed up on plates as well. Alright, this one isn't backed up on plates yet, but, you know, it's getting close. And if we come down here, yeah, we actually have a decent amount of plates here, and they're coming in about 1 a second or so. Eventually, once this all backs up, I think we do have a slight excess of plate production. And so we're going to put some plates in a chest, the excess. You can see one actually mathematically made it out with all the splitting. You know, but that's only after everything else is backed up. Are we going to do that? So, now that we have the reinforced iron plates, or in our case, they're stitched iron plates, we need to make modular frames before we can make heavy modular frames. So these are all backed up on pipes for quite a long time now. How are we doing? Yeah, these are 100% efficient. You can see this is all backed up, and even the concrete. Well, the concrete should have backed up first. Oh yeah, but the pipes are making it all the way down. This is one right here, probably gets the least pipes, but even that, it has more than enough for production. Alright, so it's time to hook this up. It probably only needs a Mark II belt, but let's put in a Mark III. And yeah, 12 per minute. And we will start getting modular frames being produced. And there we go. We should have modular frames coming out. And yes, I can feel the lag. We got a lot of moving parts at this point. Here come our modular frames. You don't quite have the input yet, but yeah, this will again back up eventually. Right now, the beginning ones are sucking up most of the output. And again, we're going to be putting modular frames in a storage container. I'm not entirely sure why. We don't really need them, but you know, it's good to have some spare if they're ever needed. I think they are needed for a few of the buildings, although I know the heavy modular frames were used in fuel, but you know, is the miners or something use modular frames? Oop. No, I thought somebody used modular frames. Assemblers use modular frames, so yeah. Few things though use heavy modular frames. But yeah, so that we'll have a bit of a backup or a storage of modular frames, so we won't have to craft them. How we do? Ooh, are we completely backed up? Okay, we are completely backed up here on our encased beams. So that's a good thing. We can actually even let them go onto our last stage of production. That's a Mark II belt. Let's just make this one Mark II so it doesn't have that bad animation there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so these two don't have material yet, so alright, this did get 2. Although, alright, if you made it past the end. You can see the yellow blinking means they don't have material. Here comes 1. And that went through 2, but that will... only 1 or 2 more will make it through. But you can see, hey, we're getting a good number. There are gaps. There should be gaps because, you know, these should output. What was our? Really, these are 64 per minute. So this is a Mark I belt, which will take 60. Plus, we have the output from these two that go right into this splitter, and we got a Mark II belt coming out. Another 100, which theoretically should be a minute and a half or so, but alright, we have the final step over here. We're using the manufacturers to make the heavy modular frames, and we have the concrete in and apparently all backed up. We have the heavy industrial beams, or case industrial beams. We just have 2 more things to go in here, which will be the pipes, and since the pipes are backed up, let's let them go through. We don't need a Mark IV conveyor, but I'm not actually sure how much we do need, and hey, since it's backed up, it's be that much quicker that it'll fill in here. Ooh. Getting very framey. Why is it? Do they only stack to 36? No, it needs 36. It'll obviously stack up to 100. Or should obviously stack up to 100. Most things, well, many things do. Not everything. Screws and wire stack up to 500. The motors are only 50, and as well as these modular frames. Oh, okay, it did stop because, hey, probably more of these are running now. And more lag, there we go. Alright, that probably is enough backed up. Let's, again, get a Mark II conveyor belt and hook this up. Here we go. We're not getting steel beams, steel pipes, not steel beams. Here comes more steel pipes. Yeah, it's gonna come in waves, but, you know, this only needs, you know, 33 a minute. So, not an extreme amount. We only have, well, we have 9 of these, but they're not all technically supposed to be running. Yeah, well. Oh! That's something else I apparently overlooked. Hooking up the actual outputs. I would say it would be no problem, but we got a decent amount of lag here now. I actually did apparently hook up a few of these. I must have run out of plate and forgot to hook up the rest. But anyway, here comes our heavy modular frames. And apparently I've fallen down between them. All get piped into here. We already have 15. We should be making 24 a minute. How are we doing on things? We're doing good here. You see, these are all backed up with limestone. We're actually I have 32 concrete makers, but you know, if I overclock that one off in the distance that I didn't, we'll have enough for 36. So I may fit 4 more in here just so we are producing some concrete here. Like I still have the concrete production over there, but if I take from over there, that's going to reduce amount of ore coming up here. So I'd rather have less lag and some production here going right into a storage chest, so I have some concrete here if I need it, because you do need it for like these poles and a few other things. You can see I didn't really plan it out this way. How much concrete do these need? These need 10 concrete, and I think, you know, there are 10 concrete on the belt. That's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's at least 8 concrete on the belt, so it almost stores a whole production line's worth on just the belt coming in. That kind of means it sucks up what comes next a bit. But you can see if enough concrete is making it down. You can see the last one here still has some, and you have, you know, he's got 25, so he can do another run before he runs out. Another 2 runs actually. They need 10 per run. You can see it's feeding in now, so. So, yeah, that about covers it for this episode. I'm sure I've gone way over time because, well, one, I didn't realize I didn't bring the iron up yet, and then the connection mistake, you know, especially when you're on the floor like that, like the well, that was a merger, not a splitter, but they'll snap to the belt, but when you're on the floor, it's kind of hard to tell being on the floor from snapped on the belt, and that's what happened. It was on the floor and not technically snapped to the belt, and yeah, so it wasn't inputting at first. So I had to fix that, but let's just see how we're doing on, yeah. At this point, we're keeping up, basically. I mean, because when we first hooked this up, this was going to drain pretty quick to fill those. How are we? We got almost 100. Doing on our... I bet this is empty. Yeah. So these aren't quite keeping up yet, but that's probably because plate production isn't quite where it needs to be, because we're just using the iron ingots so quickly. Yeah, you're running, but you're not quite running 100%. The last ones actually aren't expected to run quite at 100%. Yeah, but you should be running at 100%, and you're at 70%. But yeah, you're backing up, so you know, another good 5 minutes or so of production, and this, yeah, you're completely backed up. So we're almost there, and then, you know, once these last, well, I guess it's technically 6 or 8 get producing. Yeah, you're all backed up, or will be. I mean, the wire takes the longest to get 30 wire in here, but you can see it's now backed up before it finishes. And before I sign off, let's just check on the power. We're over 100 there. That's great. Now we're almost hitting 3,000 megawatts, and the motor production is off at the moment. So that would use another 2,000 if it was on. So we'd be near, well, we'd have a buffer of 1,000 megawatts, but that's not that much of a buffer. So, I'd like to say thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully the additional content will be out, and if it is, I may go back to my original factory and play through the additional content. If it's not back, I'll probably be working on the next 2 floors of production here. Well, which are going to be the supercomputers. And that's definitely going to need 2 floors. I think we're going to need 1 floor just for quick wire production. So, we'll see what happens. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.